listening to LA Talk Radio.
Still I rise, no matter what may come my way. Not built to break, I stand strong each and every day.
You're listening to Still I Rise Tea Party with Tarsha T. Rogers, only on LA Talk Radio.
Well, good evening. I am so happy to be here this evening. It's always good to be amongst the land of the living, as my grandmother would say. I first want to acknowledge something kind of sad that kind of happened earlier this week, which is the death of one of our well-known singers here in California and actually worldwide, as she was a participant on NBC's The Voice. And that is Miss Janice Freeman Newble. I'm just really sad to hear of her passing. And so we want to lift up her husband as well as her daughter in prayer. I believe her services are going to be on Monday. But again, that was a huge loss to the music industry. And so I was so blessed to be able to honor her at my Night of R&B Save the Tata show last year at the Grammy Museum. And she blessed us with her wonderful singing talent. So again, rest in peace to the beautiful, beautiful Janice Freeman. And we just honor God for allowing her to be able to be such a blessing to us. And this evening, I have the pleasure of speaking to Miss Sara. And I don't want to butcher your last name, Sara. What is your last name?
Herring.
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 Miss Sara Herring, who is the CEO of the Impact Experience. So I'm going to allow Sara to talk to us about who she is, her organization, and the event that she has coming up. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you so much, Tarsha. Hello, everyone. Yes, so the Impact Experience, which is near and dear to my heart, it is the nonprofit arm of what it is that we do, which is service unto the communities. And our mission with the Impact Experience is to build and restore women one community at a time through fashion. So through fashion, because I've worked with women over the past 18, 19 years with our global boutique and brand under Fashion Impact by Handbags You Like. Mm-hmm. And because of all of the needs of women that we saw, you know, just dealing with different life traumas and challenges and, you know, just the vicissitudes of life, we decided that it was time to add an intentional give back component. A community-based component to what we do, wherein we birth the Impact Experience. Mm-hmm. And so we're really excited bringing it to Los Angeles, California on Sunday, March the 24th. And it's actually our official way to celebrate Women's International History Month, right? So we know that the month of March, you know, it's all about women and women making history. And so my challenge through this month for women is to really be your sister's keeper, you know, to really serve and support the needs and the cares and the concerns of another woman that you know could use your support.
Absolutely.
And not need the accolades for it, not need the recognition for it, but just do it because your sister needs you and you have what she needs.
Absolutely.
So,
wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what things do you have in store for us at the upcoming event?
Wow. So firstly, whenever we have the Impact Experience, we partner with 10 different organizations in that community that service women who have a history of, be it drug addiction, homelessness, cancer survivors, women living with HIV and AIDS, women dealing with mental illness, domestic violence, sexual trauma, women who have come out of human trafficking. We partner with 10 organizations that service those communities of women. We ask each
Wow.
of those organizations to nominate a woman to us. And what we do through those nominations is we partner with local hairstylists
Mm.
and makeup artists. And then from our for profit side, we wardrobe style each of these 10 honorees. And so each of these women who have, some of them, a very, very dark and challenging past, get to come in for a beauty transformational makeover. They get their hair professionally done, their
Wow.
makeup professionally done, and then they are wardrobe styled in brand new fabulous clothing. Each of them receiving a $500 valued makeover, completely complimentary. Because one of the things that we found, Tarsha,
Mm-hmm.
in our travels is some of these women have never had their hair professionally done. Some
Oh,
of them have
wow.
never had their makeup professionally done, and some of them have never been gifted new clothing unless they were being passed off to a John or unless they were
Mm.
being sold off for sex, for an exchange. So
Wow.
we want to change their perception of being beautified. We're not beautifying you for what it is that you're going to put out. No, we're beautifying you to continue to build you up and to
Mm.
ensure that you are restored and you are made whole for your journey ahead. That
Wow.
within itself is the impact experience.
Wow. That is a powerful impact, and that's such a positive impact. Wow. I'm very impressed. And I'm so very grateful that Cameron introduced us, and I'm able to be a part of the event.
Yes,
I'm really excited. I'm excited to sing. I'm excited to fellowship with other women, other survivors, because, from what you're explaining, that they're all survivors, whether it's an illness
mhm.
or the things that you mentioned, to be able to overcome that
Yes,
is absolutely awesome. So I'm very excited to be a part of this um, event that's coming up.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
And so,
how did you
and
get
it
started with this?
so in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
my husband and I, Demetrius Herring Senior, we were sitting in Dallas, Texas. I will never forget it. And we were just strategizing and, kind of mapping out what we had coming up with the for-profit side of what we do. And we just began to think about, the reach and the relationships and the connections that we've been so blessed and fortunate to make across the globe.
Okay.
And it was almost like we had like an aha moment, like why is it we've been able to make the relationship connections that we've made through business, through networking, through travel? It has to be more to it than just the sale of clothing and high-end handbags and offering consignment services. There has to be something more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we sat there and we began to just kind of talk and brainstorm and think, we said, we really need an intentional give back component to what it is that we do. So when
Mm.
we're invited to showcase our boutique in a community, right? So when we
Mm-hmm.
were invited to come to Hawaii to showcase Fashion Impact by Handbags You Like, our immediate thought was, okay, we need to find a way to serve that community through the impact experience.
Okay.
So most likely the influencers and the movers and shakers and the decision makers they are the body of people that are inviting us to come and showcase our brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what about the everyday people, the people who are still trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet? The people who are trying to figure out, okay, this woman who has now left her abuser, but she has three small children, and
Mm.
yes, you're telling her she needs to get away from an abuser, but how is she going to sustain?
Right.
Most time those that are abused go back to their abusers
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have a sense of income. They don't have a sense of sustainability
Mm-hmm.
beyond leaving the abuser, right?
Wow.
And
Okay.
so we began to think about how do we reach the everyday people of these communities when we come in. We have to put boots on the ground and
Mm-hmm.
we have to make these relationship effort connections before we get there.
Wow.
So it's not just us showing up with our boutique, but prior to us getting there, we're making the calls, we're sending the emails, we're making the connections,
Mm-hmm.
we're having these meetings and these discussions to say, where are the organizations that service these communities of women? How do we make the reach, whether it be through churches, whether it be through organizations, whether it be through youth groups? I mean, we've serviced many youth, believe it or not, dating violence, teen violence, those who are orphans,
Right.
those who are teen moms. There isn't a non-reach for what it is that we do. We just want to know what are the major ills and the challenges of that community, and we want to service them. And so, by doing this work, Tarsha, one thing that I can say is you can get a bit overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you feel like you don't have enough hours in a day. You
Yeah.
feel like you don't have enough arms to reach. You feel like, it's just not enough of you to go around to do the work. But you know what I decided? I will not allow the overwhelming feeling to get the best of me. All I can do is what I can do, right?
That's it.
And so if I do my little bit, you do your little bit, my husband does his little bit, and so forth and so on, at least we know that bit of impact was made, right?
Yes.
Because if everybody says, well, it's just so much, it ain't but so much I can do, then nothing will get done,
That's
right?
true. Yes.
So we said what we can do, we will do. That's how it came about. What we can do, we will do. If we're already going into these communities anyhow, why not make impact while we're going?
Yes. Wow. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal, because at the end of the day, it's all about, I believe, it's all about giving back. And I truly believe that God blesses us to be able to bless
Yes.
someone else. He doesn't give us blessings to just sit on
Absolutely.
it and hold on to it and, be selfish about it. He blesses us to allow us to bless someone else. And, when I think about, when I first was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2014, of course, the first thing that I asked myself was, Lord, why me? But why not me?
Yes.
And so after I allowed
Yes.
myself,
Why not you?
Yeah, I allowed myself a day or two to have my pity party, and then I decided from that point on I wasn't going to have any more pity parties. That's it. I'm going to use this, and there's purpose to it. And once I kind of went through the journey, and I did the when I did my chemo, and I didn't want to lose hair, so I found out about the penguin cold caps, and I was blessed financially to be able to actually purchase them. And so I said, okay, I'm starting to see my purpose now, because there's so many women, and it's not so much about vanity, it's more about control. At least it was for me.
Yes.
You can always buy a cute wig and just keep it pushing, but it was the control of, oh, you've taken so much from me, cancer, you can't have my hair too. So I was determined to figure out a way to keep it.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it's like, okay, well, there's an expense involved. So I was able to get it done. I saved all of my hair, and I said, well, now I see my purpose, because my purpose now is to give back to those who are not as fortunate to be able to pay $500 a month to rent caps. And at the same time, also give back in the form of, honoring women that have fought and won the battle, or even are still in the battle. Just that encouragement.
Yes.
Because that was one thing that helped me, was all the people that loved on me and encouraged me and said, you can do this, just fight. So we all need that, and we all need to be surrounded with that love and encouragement. So I believe God blesses us to be able to give back and pull another young lady or another woman up and say, hey, I did this, you can do this too.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, again, what you're doing, what your husband is doing, what your organization is doing, and this event is definitely something that's needed and something to be applauded. Because, again, anytime that we can pull another sister up, that is so important, and it's simply awesome.
It is. And, there was something that you said, Tarsha, that just really stuck out to me, and I actually posted a status about it a little while ago today. I said, there's actually purpose in your pain.
Purpose in your pain. I like that. Wow.
There is purpose in your pain. If you think about the greatest impact that people have made upon this earth, more than likely it was birthed from their pain.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
birthed from a real agony,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
real burden that they carried for
Yes.
something,
Yes.
because it brings you to change.
Absolutely.
Pain brings you to change.
Yes.
It makes you realize, what, I got to do something different. I
Yeah.
got to do something about this. I have to show up. I have to step up to the plate and shoot my shot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have to get involved, because listen, you're either a part of the problem or you're a part of the solution,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And of course, any of us can point out and say, well, this has happened to me, that has happened to me, basically operate as the victim. And clear, those who are going through challenges, yes, it's rough. Yes, it's tough. Yes, it is very, some of it is just downright unfair.
Yes.
However, if you just remain in that seat, in that posture, what will that change?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What will that change? So
There's
it's
got
really
to be
about
some action.
perspective.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we really encourage the honorees as well is, how we're here serving you. You see how we're here to make sure, you see different and you feel love. We now charge you all to go and pour this into someone else. So it's not just sitting back and you receiving and you reaping all the good benefits. No, what it is that you receive, you be willing to also give that out. And you know what we do with that? We create a continual cycle of giving.
Wow.
A continual cycle of love, a continual cycle of service. Because let's be clear, there are some people, Tarsha, who has gone through way less than what we've gone through, and it completely took them out.
Yes.
God rest
so
their
true.
souls.
Yes.
It completely wiped their mind out, where they're
Yes.
now sitting and rocking back and forth in insane asylums
Yes.
because they just could not handle the
Just couldn't handle
pressure.
it. Right.
They just could not take it. And they just burst under pressure. But my goodness, how is it that God could trust us to go through all it is that we have gone through, and yet we are making it on broken pieces? I was just sharing that with a friend of mine tonight.
Wow.
She has this armoire in her home, and the front of the armoire, the doors to it, is made out of broken glass pieces, right?
Okay.
And I knew it was God who really gave me revelation through looking at it, because if you think about it, those broken glass pieces was probably on the floor at some point, because someone had to either break the glass, they dropped the mirror, something happened that caused this glass to be broken.
Okay.
They could have left it on the floor. They could have left it in a posture and in a place where it being on the floor, the likelihood is somebody was prone to step on it, bleed from it, get hurt from it. But instead of allowing the glass to lay there and continue to be an agent of hurt and of pain, they chose to make something beautiful out of those broken glass pieces. And so now I'm looking at a piece of art and a piece of craftsmanship, but it's still broken pieces. So we can really make beauty come from our broken pieces.
Yes, absolutely.
There is. It's beauty in your broken pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. And I throw health and everything into the mix because I felt compelled to help others people that are going through illnesses, and kind of talk to them about, kind of watch what you're eating and change some of the things you're eating. And then again, it was like, okay, well, if you're going to talk to people about that, then you need to be walking the walk. So, I had to embark on this weight loss journey, and that was part of the reason of doing it. But it was also my doctor telling me, if you're going to refuse some medications, then I need you to get the weight off.
Yeah.
So I had to get the weight off. And because at some point I did have to kind of take charge of the situation and say, enough is enough. You're not going to continue to try to heal me with poison. I am healed. And I think at this point with God, I can take over from here. I feel like God is speaking to me that, there's other ways of healing yourself besides taking medications. And so that's where diet comes into play. And it's like, I want to share this information with other people, but it's like, I got to be right before I share it. So I had
Yes.
to do some self inventory, and now I definitely want to be able to talk to women about the importance of nutrition, especially if you've had
Yes.
cancer, because the likelihood of it coming back and you're still eating bad and drinking bad and doing all the things you were doing before are very high. So, at some point,
Yes.
we do have to take control of our own lives and realize, some of this maybe I can't control with what I put in my body. So
Yes.
so again, just so many different aspects. I feel like God put me through this to be able to speak to other people, because maybe it's not cancer, but maybe it's diabetes, maybe it's high blood pressure. At the
Yes.
end of the day, we do
Yes.
have to take care of our temple for our temple to be good to us. So, and it's
Yes.
something we really got to get across to our African American brothers and sisters, because, we just want to just eat what we eat and what don't,
Right.
something's got to kill you anyway. No, you don't want
No,
to.
it doesn't have to
No,
be
it
that
doesn't have to
though.
be
It doesn't
that.
have to be that.
I
No.
so agree. And we've got to learn a better way. Just because
Yes.
grandma
Yes.
ate it and she lived to be 100, okay, well, times are different now, and the things that they're putting in food nowadays doesn't help either. So we've just got to make better choices.
Mm-mm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like my grandfather used to say, when you know better, you
You
do better. Because it's
Absolutely.
good, all day long consuming all the information and knowledge. But if there's no
Yes.
implementation,
Yes.
if there's no execution, right,
Yes.
then what good is it? What good is it? But yeah, absolutely. When you know better, you do better. And the beautiful thing about nutrition and lifestyle and, just making those healthy decisions, small victories.
Yes.
Start off with small victories
Yes.
where you would possibly go reach for a bag of chips, reach for some apple slices or
Yes.
some peanuts. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, you still get your snack time in, but what you're snacking on, you're being more mindful about what's going into your temple. Because it really
Absolutely.
is our way to show our gratitude
Yes.
back to God.
Yes.
It really, really is. So that our lives can be extended. One of the things that my husband shared with me, he said, babe, you don't see nobody super size,
That lives to be
70
90
and 80 years old.
Yes. Come on now. I say the same thing. Come on now.
70, 80. He said, and I want to grow old with you.
Yes.
We're going to grow old together.
Mhm.
But in order for us to do that, we have to be mindful.
Yes.
And so it definitely helps when you have a wonderful mate and
Yes.
you all are living and loving and appreciating and thanking God each day, but you have to use wisdom.
Yes.
You have to apply healthy principles. Even with us, we're actually building out a marriage community. And so just to really encourage couples, listen, you have to be considerate and think about your spouse when you're making decisions and when you're going and when you're stepping out into action and things of that nature. Consider one another.
Yes.
Make sure that it's the best thing for the whole. Would you want them to do something that would not consider you? So make sure you're offering that same courtesy and consideration, which is love
Yeah.
to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
I love
so
it.
yeah, absolutely.
So the Impact Experience LA is Sunday, March the 24th at the Bonaventure Hotel
Yes.
from 3 to 6. And so tell me a little bit about some of the people
Yes.
that are going to be there, what they're going to be doing.
Absolutely. So we have a phenomenal keynote speaker, which is Berna Ford.
Okay.
And she's completely amazing, attorney and philanthropist and public servant. And her husband actually just became the attorney general of the state of Nevada.
Excellent.
Dynamic woman. And so our mistress of ceremony is LaShawn Witt. She is a phenomenal business owner and event planner. And then we also have Cameron, who reached out to you.
Yes.
She's our panel moderator. So again, we have Berna Rhodes Ford as our keynote speaker. We have Dr. LaShawn Denise Witt, who is our mistress of ceremony. So she's going to keep the flow of the event going. She has an amazing personality. And then Cameron Brown Jones, who is going to be our panel moderator. So what we love about the Impact Experience is not only do you hear from a keynote speaker, so
Mm-hmm.
typically the keynote speaker pretty much pulls all the components of everybody that's involved together. But from a keynote, it's more of you're listening, they're talking, right?
Okay.
So that's great. But then the panel discussion, I love it so much because it's so robust and it's so engaged. And, there's so much information. You get to hear different perspectives and backgrounds and viewpoints, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
course, all positive and all for empowerment and, just great upbuilding. So then after the panel discussion, we actually open up the floor of the audience for questions. So there
Okay.
may be something that you heard, something that kind of, just got your ear, a little scratchy. And you're like, you know what? I want to know more about that. Can you tell me more about that? So we really like for this to be an engaged conversation,
Excellent.
right? All the way around. We don't want people to leave the same way that they came. We
Okay.
really want impact to hit the hearts and the minds of everyone that comes.
Excellent.
It is free and open to the public, so there is
Wonderful.
no charge for it. We do have opportunities for vendors and sponsors because, of course, there will be a great, diverse group of people there for people to showcase their businesses and their services. We're
Wonderful.
so delighted that you're going to be there and you're going to be singing and blessing us with your voice and your testimony because I believe you testify through song,
Yes.
right, Tarsha?
Absolutely.
And so we're just excited. We're excited. We're excited with the partnership with the Westin Bonaventure Hotel, and
Mm-hmm.
we're just really really appreciative of all the community partners that are taking part and being a part, and recommending those wonderful women who have survived, and we're going to honor them. So, just, really in a nutshell, we're just excited about everybody that's going to come. We have people that are traveling in for it. Some people have literally been with us at every stop for the Impact Experience, whether that was Tokyo, Japan, or whether that was Montego Bay, Jamaica, whether that was Hawaii, whether that was Las Vegas, Houston, Texas, Louisville, Kentucky, Atlanta, Georgia, Indianapolis, Indiana. The Impact Experience just took place in Portland, Oregon last weekend for Black History Month. And so we're just really, really grateful and appreciative of all of the support that we have received
Wow.
and have seen thus far across the globe. So just bringing all that together to LA.
Excellent. Excellent.
All
Yeah,
of
I
that
definitely
together.
you mentioned blessing people in song. The song that I wrote is a survivor song. It's Still I Rise. And that's the title of this radio show. That's the title of my album. It's the title of that particular song. It's the title of my organization. Because I feel like with every day that God allows me to open my eyes, I'm rising. And so, the
Yes.
song it just talks about, thought you could knock me down, thought you could count me out, didn't know I had the strength of an eagle, but I'm here to remove the doubt. Still I rise. So I definitely want to share that with the people there so that they know that no matter what they're going through, they can rise. And they will rise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, they will. And the fact that they are going to be present and accounted for is evident that they are yet rising.
Yes. Yes. And so
Yes.
this event is also global, correct?
Yes, it is.
Excellent.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Excellent. So you go to
Yes.
this year it's in Los Angeles. Do you have plans on where it will be in 2020 yet, or is it too soon?
Absolutely. Nope. So 2020, we are planning for South Africa.
Oh, wow.
We're going to be in yep. Actually, later this year, we'll be going to Ghana and London, UK.
Oh, when are you going to London?
Next year, September.
Oh, wow, darn, because I'll be in London in November.
Wow.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
September. And then Ghana in October of
Okay.
this year.
Okay, that's excellent.
Yep.
That's
And
excellent.
so next year, like I said, I know definitely South Africa. We were thinking about New Orleans for this year, so we may actually push that back to 2020. just because we already have an opportunity when we're going to be in New Orleans for something else next year that may be a wider reach
Okay.
for bringing the impact experience. And so we may wait for that. And then we also going to be here in the nation's capital. We're originally from Washington, D.C., and so, hometown has been asking us, when are you going to bring it here to D.C.? So we're actually thinking about having it here in 2020 in Washington, D.C. And so, just some really, really great things in the works. Tokyo, Japan have been asking us when we're going to come back there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Montego Bay, Jamaica has also requested us to return back there. And so we're just excited. We just
Wow.
want to, consistently be mindful that where the need is to do
Yes.
our best to try and meet the need, or at least make the connection.
Yeah.
So even if we can't physically come to a location, then what resources, what can we do with who we know and what we know and the information that's at our reach to still serve those communities? Because that's what I really believe service is too, Tarsha.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was in Houston, Texas with the Impact Experience, and I shared with them, it's a bit disheartening when you hear people saying that they're about service,
Mm-hmm.
but you actually find that they're more self-serving,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so if your real motive and if your real intention is about service, then it really shouldn't matter who gets the credit or who
Right.
gets the accolades, as
Yeah.
long as those who need the service, those who need the support and the help, as long as they get what they
Yes.
need,
Yes.
who cares about who gets the recognition
Right.
for it,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's just serve the people. Let's just
Absolutely.
really serve the people, And so that's my focus. That's
Wow.
our focus.
That's excellent.
Where can we meet the need?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So I have a question from Ms. Cameron. Who are some of the community partners for the LA event?
Absolutely. We have, hold on one second. Miss Cameron could have look, tell her she could have helped us list that. Hold on one
Okay.
second.
Yeah, she's watching from Facebook Live, so I'm keeping up with some of the things she's posting on here to make sure we touch on, and I guess she wants us to definitely
Yes,
share
yes.
who the community partners are for the event.
Absolutely. So our main platinum sponsor, which is our complete impact sponsor and community partner, is the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Far Western Region, and the regional director for the Far Western Region is Ms. Carol Dixon. So we definitely are appreciative of the support of the Far Western Region. Then we
Nice.
have a community partner, the Positive Results Corporation. I'm really excited about their executive director, Mrs. Candy Lewis, who's going to be one of our panelists. Phenomenal person and woman of God.
Okay.
Another community partner is Mrs. Inez Tootie Atkins of the
Yeah, Miss
Urban Lady
Tootie.
Foundation.
Yes.
She's actually recommended one of the honorees, as well as Miss Candy Lewis has recommended one of the honorees. And let's see, another community partner. Yes. Joy Youth Services
Mm-hmm.
and Mrs. Gloria Shell Mitchell. Yes.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
the community partners are still rolling in.
Okay.
They are definitely still rolling in. We also have the Hey Girlfriend Network,
Yes, Miss
and
Cynthia.
Miss
Yes.
you familiar with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. The Hey Girlfriend Network, and Mrs. Cynthia. Everybody knows Miss Cynthia.
Yes.
Miss Cynthia,
And
she's
she
actually
has
a
a
community
phenomenal
partner.
she has a
We've done-
phenomenal event as well. I think it's every July.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Phenomenal
Yes.
event. We've actually showcased for that annual girlfriend luncheon.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
we're actually honoring and highlighting Cynthia this year
Wonderful.
as a community leader and influencer with an impact award. So that's a bit
That's
different
excellent.
from the honorees. The impact award is for those who are just serving, making a difference in
Mhm.
their communities, and they don't do it for the recognition. They just
Yeah.
do it to make a difference. And so that's what we call our Face of Influence and Impact Award.
Go,
So
go
she's actually going to
Cynthia.
be one of our recipients for that, and we have some, some surprises up our sleeves. So we
That's
don't want to give it
excellent.
all
I
away,
know. I know. That's excellent
because
though.
some of them, huh?
No, I said that's excellent. I love it because I love Cynthia, and I've never met a more giving person.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely,
truly
absolutely. Just
deserving.
a beautiful person.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Wow, wow. Well, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be an awesome event, and I thank you again for even having me be a part of it. This is really going to be awesome, and I'm so excited.
Yes, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate, all of the love and support. We could not do what we do with the Impact Experience without community support and community partners such as yourself, such as Cameron, such as Dr. LaShawn. You all are boots on the ground. We don't live in Los Angeles, and
Mm-hmm.
so for us to really have the Impact Experience to be successful and to go over well and to make massive impact, you all actually have to say, yes, we'll be a part. Yes, we'll help to get the word out. We'll use whatever resources and
Mm-hmm.
contacts and relationships that we have to help, further the message, and to get the word spread. So I say thank you to
Yes.
you all. Cameron has been absolutely
Yes,
phenomenal,
she
making
has.
calls, sending emails, making contacts.
Yes.
I just love her. I really do. I really do. And people just do not have to be
No, they
kind.
don't. No, they
People
don't.
do not have to be kind. They do not have to support your vision. And so
Mm-hmm.
when they do and when they are, the
Yes.
least we can say is thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I say to
Absolutely.
all of you all tonight, thank you. Absolutely.
Excellent. 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 Wow. Yeah. It's really been a pleasure speaking to you and having you on the show, and we are just really excited about the things that you're doing. Um, Tell me a little bit about I guess maybe some of your honorees. Are there any, like, I know you don't want to give away too much, but are there any like special stories of any of the people that you're going to be honoring?
So one of the stories I actually had a chance to speak with an honoree tonight. She initially set out to help those that are homeless,
Ooh,
right?
okay.
To open up a homeless shelter, to really get people off the street, and give people an alternative. And because of some things that were, really out of her control, and people who pretty much wanted to usurp her authority,
Mhm.
they wanted her to do things a different kind of way. So they pretty much wanted her to close the doors of her homeless shelter during the daytime. So
Mm.
from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., they wanted her to be closed so that the homeless population could not be there. And her thought was, if they're homeless, where are they going to go?
Right.
Right? And
Right.
so she wanted the homeless shelter to be open throughout the day,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
And they figured out a way to come together and to get her out of there, as the leader.
Mhm.
And while out one day helping a homeless client get situated in their new location, in their new apartment, or their new housing, she came back home and had endured a fire. So while she was
Wow.
out helping homeless, she became
Mm.
homeless,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
Not because
Wow.
she wasn't working, not
Right.
because she was
Right.
irresponsible. And so we have to be really mindful to not be judgmental, to
Yes.
not be critical,
Yes.
and to not be harsh about other people's situations,
Yes.
because, let's be clear, only
Right.
but by the
By the
grace
grace
of
of
God
God, there go
have we
I.
not found
Yes.
ourselves
Yes.
have we not found ourselves in certain similar in like situations. It's not because it's anything so wonderful that we've done. And so, actually,
Just His
while I was
grace.
talking to her tonight, I actually shared with her that there's purpose in her pain,
Yeah.
because there's no way in the world she could have gone through all of that. And there's some other things that she's dealt with and gone through, but that within itself just really stuck out to me. I'm like, wow, God, like she was out helping someone transition into their new housing, coming out of being homeless, and she goes back home to find herself homeless.
Wow.
Wow, like
Wow. Yeah.
what
Ooh.
message did that send to
Yes.
her? You
Yes.
understand?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So, different backgrounds,
Mm-hmm.
different challenges. I mean, these women have just really, really, really forged through some things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
cancer survivors. You know,
Yeah.
women who were literally left for dead. You
Mm.
know, their abusers really, really intended to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but by the grace of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. You know, I
You know, and so,
wow. Yeah, you talk about domestic violence, and you know, I briefly saw a little bit of the interview that Gayle King had with the two women that are living with R. Kelly, and you know,
mhm,
I don't think people understand the power of manipulation. And I pray for those women. I truly pray for those women because as a parent, I can just imagine how their parents feel. And they don't want to push too hard because they already, I
right.
believe the parents haven't spoken to their daughters in 2 years, and you know they're totally under his control. And yes, you know they're saying they want to be there, but um, you know, at the end of the day, I listened to the interview yesterday with one of them, with I think it's Joycelyn,
Mhm.
and she said, "This is mommy, and you know, I just want to make sure you're okay." And she's like telling her, "Look, I've told you guys a million times, I'm fine, I'm happy, I want to be here." She said, "Well, you know, you didn't come to your grandfather's funeral, and your grandmother has stage 4 cancer." Complete silence, because
Complete silence.
you can't tell me. And then she goes back to her original statement, "I'm happy, and y'all just need to understand that." And so you can't
Brainwash.
brainwashed. You can't tell me those young ladies are not
Brainwash.
brainwashed, and they don't, and some part of them, they're not missing their parents.
Yes.
And I know she wants to reach out and call
Yep.
her grandmother, and they put a little girl on the phone. I'm not sure what the relationship of the little girl was to her. And she said, "Hey, Joycelyn, it's so and
Mhm.
so." Again, silence. And the little girl is telling
Yes.
her, "I
But
love you," and she's like, again, silence.
yes.
So I'm like, "Ooh, Jesus!"
But that's what's important.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you just said that. That's what's important. When you're dealing with someone who's been victimized and
Yes.
who's still being victimized, whether it
Yes.
be through manipulation, whether it be a prostitution ring, whether it be domestic violence, you have to continue to let them know you love them.
Yes.
Because what
Yes.
you don't want to ever do is make them feel like if they decided to peek out, if they decided to break
Mm-hmm.
away, your posture would be, "See, I told you."
Right. And you're
Or
gonna
see,
judge
you
them.
never
Yes.
want to make them feel like they have to scurry from running into safety.
Yes.
Because sometimes staying in a broken situation feels better than hearing your loved one say, "I
Yes. I
told you
told you
so."
so. Ooh. Yes. 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 You preaching to the choir. In my younger years, I've
So
been in some
unconditional
things.
love.
Yes, yes, yes. I can relate to
Yes.
that truly.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love, and I
Yes.
just love how the mother.
Yes.
I love you, Joycelyn, and they just kept saying, "I love you," and you know they're like, "Well, we haven't heard from you in a couple of years, and you say you're happy, but you know your family's here. We miss you. We love you." And then I think the little girl said, "Come home." And again, there was silence, and I'm like, "Ooh!" My heart was breaking because
Silence.
I'm like, "Oh Lord, if anything comes out of this situation, I hope those two young ladies can be reunited with their family because their family loves them."
Yes, or at least they know they have the option. Because
Yes.
sometimes you can feel like you've gone so far,
Yeah.
and you've been gone so long that
Yeah.
there's not still an opening.
Yeah.
And so I just believe that them hearing their family members say, it doesn't matter how long you've been gone,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what has happened, we still love you and you still
Yes.
have a home. Because that's really how abusers and manipulators keep victims longer,
Right.
because they make them feel like they are their world. Like, I am the only person who loves you, I'm the only person who cares for
Right.
you, which is a lie from the pit of hell.
Yes. Yes.
And so not putting your loved ones in a position where they see their abuser as their only hope.
Right. Right.
So love is the key. Love is the
Love is the
key, and
key.
love has to remain our
Yes.
motivation, Tasha.
Yes.
It
Yes.
has
It
to.
has to.
It doesn't matter. You know what? No matter how much you disagree with what your family members are doing,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to let them know that you love them.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because
You
at the
know,
end of the day, they only want
absolutely.
the best for you, and they're seeing something that unfortunately right now those young ladies can't see. They can't see it.
They cannot see.
Yeah.
They cannot see.
Yeah, but
No.
I serve a God who knows how to work some things out, and I'm just sitting back watching him.
Yes.
He's working it out. It may not seem like it, but
Yes, he is.
he is working it out. And I truly believe
We're
those
going to trust the process.
oh yeah, I believe those young women are going to be back home because he's working it out. I know that.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that those women have praying mothers, praying grandmothers, and they are interceding on their behalf, and they are going to be home.
Yes, I believe
So,
that.
and
I believe that.
I
And
pray.
because the thing about an abuser is they don't like to be exposed.
Oh no. Oh no. And it's all, and I have to say this, a lot of our African Americans feel like it's wrong what's being done, but what they don't understand is the person who put the documentary out in the first place was an African American woman. So,
Hmm.
I talked about this a little bit last week on my show last week. We have to look after our black girls. They're precious, they're beautiful. And if we're going to keep protecting him, who is protecting our young girls? Do they not matter? Are they
Who's
not
protecting
important? Are they
them?
not important? They're very important.
Right.
So stop trying to
Right.
protect him because
Right.
he's the king of R&B or whatever else. Let's look after our young women.
That could take us into a whole other conversation,
Yes,
Tarsha. We as a
yes.
culture and a community have to stop sweeping this foolishness under
Under
a
the
rug.
rug. If Uncle Sylvester is touching all the little girls in the family, stop having Uncle Sylvester at Thanksgiving dinner and just just stay away from Uncle Sylvester.
Lock his
No.
tail up. How about that?
Yes. Get
How
rid
about
of Uncle
that? Lock his
Sylvester.
tail up.
Thank
Because
you.
how has he gotten away with molesting an older generation, a younger generation, and then the coming up generation?
Yes.
How has he been able to molest
Because
and
everybody's
fondle
looking the
three
other way.
generations of young girls and women? That's perpetual.
Because everyone is looking
And
the other
somebody is
direction.
not taking accountability. Everybody's looking the other way.
Yes. Yes. And they're putting the talent
No more
before
looking away.
putting the talent before the terror, and because he's wreaking havoc and creating terror with his victims
Yes.
and the family of these victims. So forget the talent. He can strike up a band and do some concerts in jail if he wants to, but get him away from these women.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Healing must begin at truth.
Yes, it must begin with truth.
Healing must
Yes,
begin at truth.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
again, I thank you so much. We're running out of time, and I told you were concerned we weren't going to, it's like, oh, that's a long time, but I told you we would have plenty to talk about. So I am so glad. I'm so glad you joined me tonight at the tea party, and I'm so looking forward to your event. Again, the event is at the Western Bonaventure on March the 24th from 3 to 6. It's
Yes.
free. It's going to be an awesome event. She's going to be honoring some wonderful women, some wonderful survivors, and we're just going to come out and support. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody and to meeting you in person and being a part of this awesome event. And I just thank you again, Sarah. This has been totally awesome.
You're very welcome. We definitely are excited about everybody that's going to be coming out. Just be sure that everyone goes and registers on Eventbrite. Yes, it's free and open to the public, but we need an accurate count for food.
For food,
So,
absolutely.
in case you don't have the Eventbrite link, listen, you can go on our website for the Impact Experience, which is www.theimpactexperience.net. So that's www.theimpactexperience.net. See what it is that we've done, what it is that we have coming up. And again, you can click to register for the Impact Experience Los Angeles Edition 2019 themed Empowered to Serve. Because how many know we are all empowered to serve?
All of us.
Absolutely.
Well, that's our time tonight for the Tea Party. I thank everybody who tuned in. And remember that our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Still I rise, still we rise. Thank you all, and have a wonderful night and a wonderful rest of your week. Good night.
Still I rise, no matter what may come my way. Not built to break, I stand strong each and every day.
You're listening to Still I Rise Tea Party with Tarsha T. Rogers, only on LA Talk Radio.